Welcome to Little Black Book. We are here again, and we're here to help you set the bar so that you can build, acquire, and repair your relationships so that you can get the maximum out of them. We're here for part 4 of 4, and we're here talking to you about how to overcome your fears. In part 1, we spoke about how fear manifests itself. In part 2, we said where the origins come from. Part 3, we spoke about how fear affects your relationship. But in part 4, I'm now giving you the juice, baby, and how you can overcome the fears that you're facing, whether that's relationships romantically, with friends, with parents, etc., etc. These principles speak on and on and on. I gave an example of a story in the basic instructions for leaving Earth of David killing Goliath, a young boy killing giants. Here's the thing. One of the ways that David killed Goliath was that he decided that he was not going to be fearful. Why? Because who was backing him was much bigger than the Goliath. You have to understand that for those of us who are Christians, whoever's backing you is bigger than your problems. For those who are not Christians, let me put it this way. If it doesn't kill you, it's going to make you stronger. So go for it now, but it's not going to kill you. It's going to make you stronger. Do you get it? And that creates a fearlessness because you know this is temporary. The feeling you're feeling right now is temporary. Number one way in order how to overcome your fear is to read, is to acquire some type of knowledge, to educate yourself. I said fear breeds itself in darkness. It's like a plant. Fear is ugly, okay? It's like certain plants. They can grow in darkness, you know, and very little light. And how do they grow? Twisted. Why? Fear is twisted. It enjoys darkness. It enjoys a lack of understanding. It enjoys lack of knowledge. It enjoys lack of wisdom. It enjoys ignorance. That's how fear grows. When there is ignorance in the party, fear will grow. Okay? So one way to enable yourself to be able to overcome fear, for us as Christians, our reading is the Word of God. I'll be honest with you. The Word of God is light to my feet. It is the Bible. Okay, and it is a basic instruction before leaving Earth. It will illuminate the darkness in your life, okay, and make you aware of the insecurities that you're facing currently. For those who are not Christians, reading books on relationships, reading books on how to conquer fears, how to be fearless, and how to be strong and courageous, they will help you gain understanding, because light is knowledge. Christ was knowledge of the Father. So light, understanding, knowledge light is knowledge of something. Point 2 is to work out the root of the issue. Okay, if you look at Genesis and Revelations, the serpent was a serpent, but by the end, Revelation, it had evolved. Charmander had become Charizard. Serpent had become dragon. Understand, you need to work out the root. When you work out the root, a tree is easily cut when it's at the baby stage. But if it's grown to a fully grown tree, what do? You cut it at its root. You don't cut the branches, you don't cut the surface stuff, you cut it at its root, and then you can kill the tree. Do you get it? So for a lot of you, you need to really deep your life, sit there, contemplate, analyze, and say, where is the root of this thing coming from? When you see the root of where it's come from, you can begin to cut and chip away at those fears. Your fears, a lot of them, 90% of them, you must face head on. If you're afraid of talking to females, guess what? The only way to overcome that fear is to talk to females. If you're afraid of being in social environments, guess what? The only way to overcome those things is to be in social environments and to make yourself acclimatized to that environment. So fear has to be faced head on. When there is fear, then the person will retreat, or the person will be frozen and stuck in their particular zone. I said this in the video number 1. So understanding that your fear, the only way to overcome it is to face it head on, to tackle it and to punch it and to kick it and to wrestle with it. Okay? And when you wrestle with it, you start to see the benefits. is to talk about it and to share it. Oftentimes we isolate ourselves. You see, the basic instructions for leaving Earth tells us that one can put 1,000 to flight, but two can put 10,000 to flight. I want you to understand that one can put 1,000 to flight, but two can put 10,000 to flight. What that means is this: when you share your burdens, when you share your battle with somebody, what happens is you have a renewed strength. Let me put it this way: when you're walking in the dark alone, it feels a bit more leery, a bit more scarier. But when you're walking with somebody else, you're sharing the burden, you don't feel as scared anymore. Why? Because there's now two of you. Loneliness is scary. It's a part of fear. Isolation is a part of fear. What fear does, it tries to isolate you. So when you share it and you talk about it, what happens is you're able to overcome that fear, because it's like, hey, you could be suffering with something too, and I didn't know you were suffering with that, but me too, I'm also suffering with something like that as well. Let's bond over that and let's overcome together. Okay, boom. To overcome fear is to believe it and to have faith in it. Okay, I told you earlier on that the opposite of fear is faith. Okay, in order to overcome fear, you must develop your faith. What is faith? Faith is literally having a strong confidence in something that you cannot see, but it's built upon a substance. Okay, a knowing. It's built upon a knowing. Okay, now in the world, their faith is built upon a knowing, which is that if I'm gonna go to sleep, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. I know I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, because that's the way the world works. And because the Bible and the basic instruction for leaving Earth tells us the earth or the world was framed by faith, by the words. Okay, and how does faith come by? By hearing the word. The word equates to faith, and when you hear it, you strengthen your faith. You've heard it that you wake up tomorrow. You've seen it, you wake up tomorrow. You have faith. So the only way to overcome fear is to believe and to have faith that you're going to overcome that fear. And when you do, you do the opposite. You do another point, which is to step out in faith, which is you will begin to step out into social environments. Let's say you're scared of people or scared of girls. You step out and talk to females or to guys or whatever, because now you're operating in faith, belief. Belief means to literally accept the statement is true. Faith means to live out that statement, to walk in that statement. And fear means to shy away from that statement and not to act. Final point I should add actually is to pray. Now, you may not be a Christian, maybe not, but let me tell you something: prayer works. When you want to overcome a fear, prayer works, because God is love, and love conquers all, including fear. All right, guys. Little Black Book. We're here to set the bar, build, acquire, and repair relationships. I want to let you know you can now check out. That's the end of our 4-part series. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below, and we'll get back to you. And listen, you know what time it is. Be locked in and saved, baby. Appreciate you.